Hello, I'm Sebastian. Welcome to Nine Nar Trees podcast. Today, I will summarize and review the book, The Perfectionist's Guide to Losing Control, A Path to Peace and Power, by Catherine Morgan. Schaffler is a transformative exploration of how perfectionism manifests in our lives, often promising achievement, but resulting in stress, anxiety, and a perpetual sense of inadequacy. Schaffler, a renowned psychotherapist specializing in personal growth and self-development, demonstrates how perfectionism isn't merely a hindrance, but can also be leveraged effectively to lead fulfilling lives once properly understood and regulated. The book challenges conventional assumptions about striving for perfection, revealing emotional and psychological insights to help readers develop a healthier relationship with their ambitions. Through relatable anecdotes, psychologically grounded wisdom, and pragmatic guidance, Schaffler introduces strategies to harness perfectionist traits constructively. Readers encounter a refreshing balance between emotional intelligence, self-compassion, and the disciplined pursuit of excellence. This work stands out as a practical manual infused with gentle encouragement and sincere acknowledgement of the reader's innate worth, providing an empowering framework for professional and personal transformation alike. I will give you key takeaways from this book. Firstly, understanding the roots of perfectionism. Schaffler begins the discussion by delving deeply into the psychological roots of perfectionism. She explains how the desire to achieve perfection often originates from emotional experiences in our formative years, such as the need for approval, acceptance, or love. Expanding on these insights, she outlines how early interactions with parental figures, teachers, peers, or society at large might shape our self-expectations and create deeply ingrained behavioral loops. By accurately identifying and comprehending these emotional origins, individuals can begin to change their relationship with perfectionism from harmful obsession to healthy striving. Schaffler suggests personal reflection exercises to help readers recognize their triggers, promoting transformative self-awareness and profound psychological insight. Secondly, defining healthy and unhealthy perfectionism. Not all perfectionism is destructive. Schaffler distinguishes between adaptive, healthy, and maladaptive, unhealthy, forms of perfectionism. Healthy perfectionism involves realistic goal setting, self-compassion, resilience, and the flexibility to adapt to life's changing circumstances. Conversely, unhealthy perfectionism involves rigidness, self-criticism, constant dissatisfaction, anxiety, and fear of failure. The book is meticulously structured to help readers assess their personal perfectionist tendencies and provide clear illustrative examples demonstrating the critical differences between the two modes. This differentiation is pivotal in restoring emotional balance and productivity, fostering self-confidence and overall psychological well-being. Thirdly, losing control. Embracing imperfection for emotional growth. Central to Schaffler's advice is the powerful concept of intentionally relinquishing control. The paradoxical claim presented is that to gain authentic happiness and inner strength, individuals must willingly embrace imperfections within their lives. Losing control involves stepping back from micromanaging outcomes and instead improving internal emotional terrain. The book introduces pragmatic methods to release the grip of excessive control, recommending mindfulness techniques, cognitive behavioral strategies, and cultivating acceptance of uncertainty and imperfections. The outcome of these practices empowers readers, lowering anxiety levels significantly and enabling a greater sense of personal freedom and emotional growth. Fourthly, strategies to combat perfection-driven anxiety. Schaffler recognizes that perfectionist tendencies often accompany persistent anxiety, given the perpetual gap between idealistic standards and actual reality. The book devotes substantial attention to developing effective coping mechanisms and psychological tools to combat anxiety brought on by unrealistic expectations. Techniques covered include cognitive reframing, adjusted self-dialogue, practical mindfulness exercises, and emotional resilience training. Schaffler integrates these strategies seamlessly into everyday life scenarios that readers readily identify with. This empowering approach helps clarify the practical steps that perfectionists may take toward emotional liberation, alleviating anxiety and restructuring thought patterns towards greater positivity and contentment. Lastly, building sustainable habits of self-compassion. Finally, the author emphasizes the critical role of continuous self-compassion in transforming one's relationship with perfectionism long-term. Schaffler explains that self-compassion isn't merely a passive acceptance, but an act of active kindness and acknowledgement toward oneself, especially amidst failure or setbacks. The book guides readers on how to constructively embody self-compassion, systematically replacing negative critical patterns with supportive and affirming inner dialogue. Through dedicated practice and tangible steps outlined clearly in the text, readers learn to integrate self-compassion deeply into their personal philosophy, ultimately becoming empowered to achieve excellence while nurturing emotional health and authentic self-value. In conclusion, The Perfectionist's Guide to Losing Control is a highly recommended resource for anyone struggling with stress, burnout, anxiety, or low self-worth rooted in perfectionist attitudes. Professionals, students, creatives, or anyone consistently chasing the impossible task of flawless performance will find substantial benefit in Schaffler's well-researched, highly practical, and empathetic approach. Unlike many other self-help guides that may dismiss or condemn perfectionism, this book generously acknowledges its benefits while offering detailed methodologies to ensure it remains adaptive and psychologically healthy. Readers gain remarkably insightful perspectives that facilitate substantial improvements in emotional intelligence, resilience, and productivity. It stands apart due to Schaffler's strong professional background in psychotherapy, her compassionate understanding of human nature, and her exceptional ability to simplify sophisticated psychological principles. Choosing this book is a sound decision for those looking to break free from destructive perfectionism patterns without sacrificing their ambition. Ultimately, The Perfectionist's Guide provides a compelling and comprehensive roadmap toward long-lasting peace, clarity, fulfillment, and robust emotional inner power, proving itself to be an invaluable guide to mindful living and balanced success. If you would like to support Katherine Morgan Schaffler, you can buy the book through the Amazon link I've provided in the podcast description. After reading the book, please let me know what you think and share your thoughts. See you around.